Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Before normally starting today's topic, let me share a quick thought about a comment on last week's video titled Internal Cell Concepts 20, 落地生根. The comment is a quote, how can we use internal power to ignite paper? I'm talking about how 内功 masters have advanced qi abilities. End quote. To that, I gave a short and quick answer. I said, I do not think anyone can do it without using some tricks. Then I received this reply, quote, you obviously know that qi is an authentic intellectual conceptualization. However, you must agree that theoretically, if one has enough qi, then one could ignite paper because qi is real, and if you somehow have enough qi, then you could ignite paper. So you are saying it is impossible to have enough qi to ignite paper. End quote. My initial plan was to answer this question in the next Q&A video, but I figured it was important to clarify such topics in my formal video format. Allow me to digress for a bit. By accident, I found a long-lost book in my basement a couple of days ago. The book is called The Art of Thinking by Vincent Ryan Ruggiero. Sorry if I butchered his name. This book reminded me of the time I bought it for my son. Years ago, he was preparing for his college studies. I remember very well that one day during dinner time, we had a discussion about critical thinking. I told him that he was really lucky to have the opportunity to study in the West at such a young age. Back in my college days, we did not have any course introducing critical thinking and creative thought. If you want to understand this topic and wish it to improve your skill in it, you have to find a solution all by yourself. Chinese academia offered no relevant solutions back then. That was the situation 2 or 3 decades ago. Today, the situation in China may have changed, but I'm not too certain. I studied critical thinking and creative thought after I moved to Canada. I was impressed by the development of this field in the West. So, I ordered this book and let him read it. This book is used in critical thinking classes taught by some universities in the US. My son told me that it's a well-written book and I read a few chapters as well, and I believe that it is a well-structured book for this topic. And just to be clear, like all my previous videos, this is also not a sponsored video. Nobody is paying me to talk about this book. Now, let's get back to the comment about igniting paper with qi. I have to say that any practice or demonstration of igniting paper with so-called qi is nothing more than a magic trick. Moreover, I also know what chemicals to use in order to perform such a trick. I may not be Walter White, but I'm pretty close. Surprisingly, that community member used a very strong word to express their belief. They said, you obviously know what qi is, an authentic intellectual conceptualization. And you can see in their comment. Well, let me provide a detailed answer now. First, we need to define the term qi. Without a clear definition, any conceptualization will be null and void. As for the terms authentic and intellectual, they are just 2 adjectives. Adjectives do not hold much water if the noun described by the adjective has not been clearly defined in the first place. They also said, however, you must agree that theoretically, if one has enough qi, then one could ignite paper. My answer to this statement is that I agree with the existence of the term qi, but not with any random theoretical assumption about qi. Yes, if you believe that qi is energy, then you should not forget that anything in the real world, including qi, has limitations. For example, not only theoretically, but in reality, that human being can fly with the help of an airplane, but no one can fly without wings. Similarly, you can use the qi in your fingers to flick a lighter and then ignite the paper. So, theoretical assumptions without considering practical limitations will only lead you to faulty conclusions. Then he said, quote, because qi is real and if you somehow have enough qi, then you could ignite paper, end quote. Yes, qi is real if we perceive qi to be energy, but something being real does not imply it can change its own nature, including qi. For example, it is a reality that people often getting shorter in old age as compared to their younger days. But no matter what, you will neither be reduced to zero height nor grow underground in old age. In the end, he said, so you are saying it is impossible to have enough qi to ignite paper? Well, my answer has been very clear. Yes, it is impossible, or it is only possible if you use chemicals to produce such an effect. If you still don't want to accept it, I suggest you have any human being ignite paper using their qi in front of me, and I will pay you a hefty sum of $5 Canadian. Joke apart, I feel very unfortunate to see this kind of comment. And it's not just a commentator, but there are many in the community who have many false ideas about the qi and internal styles. It's the 21st century, and there has been no better time to receive and collect information. We can avoid many logical mistakes if we just pay a bit of attention to the practice of critical thinking, especially in the West. Anyway, while I'm on the subject of energy, let me introduce a topic related to the word energy in martial practice. I call this Li Yuan, or source of power. Bear in mind, I will be using the term force and power interchangeably, even though they are two different topics in martial practice, which I have explained in prior videos. So, topic covered in today's video include: first, definition of internal style. Second, Li Yuan. Third, basic principle of Li Yuan practice. Fourth, demonstration. And fifth, takeaways. By the way, the Li Yuan concept is an advanced topic. A couple of weeks ago, I had a conversation with one of my students about this channel. His suggestion was that I should pay attention to the topics suggested by our community members. But my response was that I'm currently focusing on the topics that I believe are important to the community. I want to elevate the conceptual understanding of the internal styles. I will focus on community demands once the average understanding has been elevated. To quote Henry Ford, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Topic 1. Definition of internal style. It's unfortunate that the term internal style has been used for so long without any proper definition. There hasn't been a clear definition of the term internal style so far. Most people simply point to 形意, Tai Chi, and 八卦 when asked about internal styles. Or sometimes, people just briefly say, internal style is a style in which the main characteristic is to focus on internal energy and applying softness to overcome hardness. About 10 years ago, I wrote an article and posted it in China defining the concept of an internal style. I defined an internal style based on 4 perspectives. The Mandarin version of the definition is 以丹田为功法的核心理念，以肩胛结构为物质基础，以身体与精神的结合为训练手段，以自我解放及个人升华为终极目标。The English translation of these 4 perspectives are: First, key practical concept is to focus on Dantian. Second, physical foundations is the entire body structure, not individual parts in isolation. Third, training method includes harmonization of body and mind. Fourth, main objectives are achieving self-actualization. I have briefly introduced each of these 4 elements in some of my prior videos. For example, you can find my explanation of the Dantian concept in the video titled Dantian, the source of internal strength explained. Link is in the description. In that video, I introduced the different type of Dantian concepts based on historical documents and practice. All the internal styles focus on Dantian. Dantian is not only a mere concept, but also a definite physical area of the body. I recommend you watch that video if you haven't already. Also, internal style training emphasizes the body structure. I'm intentionally using the term structure here instead of discrete parts such as arms, legs, and so on, since only a strong structure will offer real function in martial practice. I'm aware that this definition may not be sufficient clear to English speakers. I will post a video in the future dedicated to explaining this definition further. But for now, let's move on to the next main topic for today. Second topic, Li Yuan. The internal martial art community in China uses the term Li Yuan to describe the concept of a source of power. Li means power, Yuan means source. This term is used to ask the question, where does the power come from? In other words, in martial art practice, which part of the body generates power? We already know that the common belief in the community that internal power in martial training originates from the Dantian area. However, since the location of a Dantian varies upon the style, simply saying that Dantian is the source of power is a vague answer. My teaching approach is to first break down the concept of Dantian and then categorize different movements based on the direction of and the main body part guiding that movement. Also, this approach mainly focuses on the body movement, not the movement of the arm and legs. So, I categorize body movements into 3 types. First, vertical movement, upward, downward. Second, horizontal movement, forward, backward, and left, right. And the third, body turning movements. Based on my research and experience, I have concluded that first, Vertical or upward and downward body movements are mainly controlled by the spine. Second, horizontal or forward, backward, and left-right movements are mainly controlled by the hips. And the third, body turning movements are controlled by the waist. Therefore, the three body parts, spine, hips, and the waist, are the real physical Dantian area that controls the main movements and generate necessary power. These three areas are collectively called Li Yuan, or source of power. So, understanding the source of power or the physical mechanism of power generation will help you improve your practice. To summarize, I classified the physical Dantian area used in martial practice into three categories, according to the characteristics of the physical movements controlled by this part. A specific area has its unique function in power generation. Furthermore, a specific power can be generated more effectively and efficiently by its corresponding area as compared to others. Therefore, focusing on the practice by taking advantage of the main body part in power generation can help our practice become better in a more effective and efficient way. Looking back in history, similar terms and descriptions of this concept have been used, but they have not been sufficiently clear. I believe it is worthwhile to clarify this concept so that practitioners can improve their practice according to their training objectives. Topic 3. Basic principle of Li Yuan practice. Again, any discussion about power generation is a hard topic due to its very nature. The objective of this video is to introduce basic training guidelines. It is infeasible to cover all the topics necessary for practicing power generation. However, pointing out a few important factors will help you understand this topic better. In the interest of time, I will only introduce three basic principles in today's video. Those are: first, any single movement is the integration of the three individual categories of movements. Second, however, not all the three have to be emphasized equally simultaneously in training. And the third, coordination of the three parts is the key in practice. Now, let me explain each of them. First, any single movement is the integration of the three individual categories of movements. Any movement, no matter how complicated or simple, is the integration of many small movements, especially during a powerful fighting execution. It is the result of a coordination of those three body parts working together. Based on my teaching experience, a practitioner's mistake is not caused by the mistaken movement itself. Instead, it is usually caused by other related movements. So, it is the teacher's responsibility to identify the root cause of mistakes in the practitioner's movements. Furthermore, in practice, you should focus on each part of the movement that is directly or indirectly related to the main movement that you are working on. This is the first principle. Second, not all the three parts of Dantian need equal and simultaneous emphasis during training. It may seem counterintuitive in the beginning. This is why I classify all of the body movements into three categories along with the driving force for each of them. Vertical movements are controlled by the spine, horizontal movements are controlled by the hips, and the body turning movements are mainly controlled by the waist. I recommend you analyze your movement or routine based on this method. I'm sure you will notice faster progress. Finally, the key aspect to observe during practice is the coordination between the three parts. Again, comprehensive body power is gained through the execution of many coordinated individual body movements. I have to say that martial art practice is mainly the practice of coordination, physical as well as mental. It's a big topic and I will explain it further in the future. Topic 4. Demonstration. Today, I'd like to demonstrate an exercise used to practice body movement. This exercise can help you develop a strong body force by coordinating different movements including stepping, body turning, and elbow striking. Hello, I'd like to demonstrate one exercise used to practice the body movement. So you can start from here. Topic 5. Takeaways. A few topics have been discussed in this video. First, definition of internal style. I define the internal style of practice by listing 4 main characteristics. First, key practical concept is to focus on Dantian. Second, physical foundation is the entire body structure, not individual parts in isolation. Third, training method includes harmonization of body and mind. Fourth, main objectives are achieving self-actualization. Second, Li Yuan. Movement related to power generation can be divided into 3 categories, each of which has a source of power controlling it. First, vertical or upward-downward body movements are mainly controlled by the spine. Second, horizontal or forward-backward and right-left movements are mainly controlled by the hips. Third, body turning movements are controlled by the waist. Third, Li Yuan practice has 3 basic principles. First, any single movement is the integration of the 3. However, not all of the 3 have to be emphasized equally simultaneously in training. Third, coordination of the 3 parts is the key in practice. Fourth, remember to check out and practice the sample exercise in the demonstration section. That brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, see you next time and enjoy your practice.